Am I the asshole for not taking enough picture when I went on vacation? My 38M wife, 39F, goes crazy with the pictures with our kids, 10F, 8M, 4F. At least 300 pictures for everything: birthdays, vacations, extracurricular, any graduations or ceremonies. And she doesn't even post like half of them, just looks at past ones occasionally. Recently, it was just me and the kids that went on vacation. My wife had to do other stuff the week we were gone. Before we left, she did say take lots of pictures. I will admit we didn't take a lot of picture, mostly because I forgot, but we did take 1 or 2 picture at each new place. When we got back, my wife immediately wanted to see the picture, and was actually mad that we took so little. She knew everywhere we went, so she kept asking why we didn't take pictures at X or Y location, but we went and had fun, so I don't think the pictures matter. Cue a little bickering. Am I the asshole? Asshole is a strong word, but you did know it was important to her and you ignored that because it didn't matter to you. She was missing her family and trying to connect it with you. You could have done this very small thing, and when you say it doesn't matter, it's another way to say that she doesn't matter, and things that are important to her don't matter. Mixed feelings on this. My sister and mom take a ridiculous amount of pictures on trips. So many are the same, and sorting through them for the ones I want to keep is so time-consuming. I hate it. We're talking hundreds of photos over a 3-day weekend. But my dad died last year, and I find that I don't have very many of him in my adult life. I wish I had more. I'd say take more than you wanted but less than your wife. Also, next time you're all on a trip together, make sure you take pictures of your wife and kids. Dad was always the one taking the photos, so way more of mom than my dad. I'd like more photos of us with dad than we have. Dude, take some pictures of your kids. You'll be glad you did when they're not kids anymore. And it takes like 12 seconds to snap 300 pictures. If this is the biggest problem you're having though, you're doing pretty well. Gonna give you a tip. For everything that you love, take some candid picture of your wife and kids. The moms are always behind the camera, and I bet she doesn't have lots of picture w the kids. No assholes here. I feel like both points are valid. She wants to remember all details about this age, and you had to take care of the kids. You're not an asshole, but you do suck. You obviously know how important picture taking is to your wife. It takes literal seconds to snap photos so your wife can be involved in the memory making. I totally understand not wanting to take 300, but 10-15 at different points during the trip would probably have really made your wife happy. Not the asshole, different strokes for different folks. I prefer to be in the moment and hardly take pictures as well. Am I the asshole? Husband got a surprise dog. Hi, so my husband got a dog as a surprise. We both work jobs that require us to be at work from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. or 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and will require us to be gone for a minimum of 2 days, 2 weeks without notice. Although most of the times we are notified at least a week in advance. I've never voiced excitement about wanting a dog, and the few times we've talked about it in the past I've said it's not a good idea. He got the dog and I wasn't happy, and I voiced my concerns, and all he got from it was I made him feel like a boss, and that it made him view me in a different light. Also, I'm selfish for not wanting a dog because it's basically one step below a child. I want to be able to go places freely without having to pay for someone to keep the dog, etc. The dog is basically an untrained 2-year-old pit mix pit bull that poops and pees everywhere. He doesn't have the time to train him constantly because he works and gets off at 4. I personally have been doing things to stay out later in the evening, like going to the gym or swimming, just to avoid being home because I absolutely abhor the constant poop and pee and the wet spots. It's also concerning because I know if too much of that happens then the flooring will have to be replaced and even the walls. I've toured a house where it reeked of dog poop, piss, and I refused to even consider it, and I want to rent the house when we move out, and I'm scared it will be like that house. It doesn't matter what I'll say, he'll just make me seem like the bad guy about how I make him feel bad, and I'm never happy with anything. I feel like it's causing a rift in our marriage because he thinks I'm overreacting and he's unable to see my pav. Anyways, long rant, but am I the a-hole? But this isn't about the on yogurt. Her husband got an untrained toddler of a dog, and thought what was gonna happen. Who's feeding, walking, playing and training it now? Bully mixes need leadership, training and energy draining. If not, it's an accident waiting to happen. Did he accept you to pick up his LDEA and take care of it for the credit? You need to go take a month vacay. Put your stuff in storage and let him deal with the dog in full. Don't have a baby with this man. Your husband saying it's made him view you in a different light is emotionally manipulative. I hope he doesn't use language like that often. He really needs to take a week or 2 off work and spend it training the poor dog. Not the asshole, but your husband sure is one. Does he plan to just let the dog defecate and urinate everywhere? A sentient creature should definitely be discussed and desired by both people in the marriage. Not the asshole. Honestly, this is a hill I would die on. 1. It's not a good life for the dog to be locked up on its own all day. 2. I refuse to live in a house that's being covered in urine and feces. It's gross, it's unhealthy, and it damages and devalues the property. 3. Your husband unilaterally made a massive decision that affects both of you, even while knowing you're not on board with it, is not responsibly handling what's needed himself, time with the dog, proper training, etc., is trying to manipulate you into giving in. This is about more than the dog. Not the asshole. Find a good home for the dog and potentially the husband. I'm a total dog person, but you're not, and more important, you have no time. He is being irresponsible, unreasonable, and flat-out juvenile. And now he's sending you on a guilt trip. Don't go. Seriously, find the dog a good home. It is not fair to it to be locked in a home and be untrained and unloved. Not the asshole. I'm not sure why it's such an accepted thing that people get animals either for them, their spouses, kids, families, whatever it might be, without their spouse's permission. And it's not even I have the authority over you thing, it's common decency and respect thing. Aside from that, it sounds like y'all do not feel as you have time for a dog, and the fact it's not trained. I'd be fuming. Would I be the asshole for not proofreading an important document that has already been proofread twice? My best friend's son is 20 and wants to join a law enforcement academy. Our families have been extremely close since long before his birth. I love this boy with all my heart, but I, and other members of his family, don't necessarily think this is the right type of work for him, but we have been supporting him. His family doesn't have a scanner and he has a huge, 30+ pages, document to fill out and email in. He sent it to me to print out for him, then he completed it and gave it to my husband last night to scan. The pages were out of order, several had missing information like previous addresses, his phone number was illegible, information entered in wrong places was crudely scratched out, and he even forgot to put his name on it. He was confused because it had a place for maiden name. He has ADHD and always had trouble in school with completing assignments, and his handwriting is very childlike and practically illegible. These are just two of the reasons why we feel this isn't a good fit for him. We also found out last night that he had the email for a week before he sent it to me for printing. He said he didn't get a notification that he received it. We got it back in order and I started going through it, finding the errors. Called his mom and talked to her about it. We reprinted the pages that needed to be redone. He picked them up after work and she stood over him while he fixed it all. My husband scanned it today, emailed it to him and copied me on it. I verified with his mom that she had looked over everything and I didn't need to proofread it again. She said yes. Problem. Just glancing through, I still found errors, including the date on the signature page. I have opted not to say anything and let the chips fall where they may. Husband agrees. Our thinking is, if he needs 3 other people to help apply for a position and still can't get the paperwork right, it is on him. The official email hasn't gone out yet. Would I be the asshole? Not the asshole. But be sure you never, ever tell anyone in the family that you spotted errors after they'd signed off on it. Because then they will blame you. Not surprised the people that want to become cops can't even fill out a form or carry out basic tasks without the help of several other adults. Not the asshole. To be honest, all this help is just going to make things worse. His parents should be embarrassed that it's gotten to this point. Since when is ADHD an excuse for this level of helplessness? Our thinking is, if he needs 3 other people to help apply for a position and still can't get the paperwork right, it is on him. Correct. He's been coddled to his own detriment. Not the asshole. I understand ADHD makes things like this difficult, but at the end of the day, this is an adult trying to get into law enforcement. They need to be able to properly fill out paperwork. That's a huge part of the job. You can't hold their hand forever. Not the asshole. Also, is his mom going to proofread the police reports that he's going to be responsible for generating? Not the asshole. Please protect your community from this boy. Not the asshole. Mom said she checked everything herself. Don't say anything and let it happen. I doubt they'll come back later blaming you if he doesn't get in, but you can just say that you didn't even look at it the second time and just scanned it in for him. Am I the asshole for ignoring my friend's work messages while I'm on maternity leave? I'm currently on maternity leave from my job as a social media manager at a small startup. When I went on leave, my friend actually took over my position. She only joined the company because of me. Since then, she's been messaging me constantly. Every other day it's either questions about work, venting about colleagues, or sending me the content she posts so I'll like or engage with it. She messages me through both the company account, which I've muted, and her personal one. On top of that, she often asks to come over and help cooking, cleaning, walking the dog, whatever I need. It's really generous of her, but the problem is that whenever she's over, the conversation turns into work. The last time she came, she stayed for 5 hours, and 80% of what we talked about was her job. I even ended up helping her do work because she was stressed, and she straight up asked me to join a meeting with her. I feel so stuck. I don't want to hurt our friendship, and I know she's just trying her best, but this is supposed to be my maternity leave. I've already had to tell other coworkers to respect my time, and she even backed me up on that. Yet she doesn't seem to realize she's doing the same thing. So lately I've just been ignoring the work-related messages. She doesn't seem to get the message. I'll still reply if it's something personal, but if it's about work I don't answer. Now I'm worried I'm being rude or unsupportive, since she's obviously struggling and looking for reassurance. Am I the asshole for ignoring her work messages while I'm on maternity leave? Not the asshole, but why not just tell her you're on work leave and don't want to talk about work off work? Even she needs a break. She's letting work take over her personality. If you work while on maternity leave, you're putting her job, your job, and the company at risk for breaking labor laws. It is illegal for you to work when you're not getting paid for it. Not the asshole. Since being subtle isn't working, I'd recommend just being direct with her. Remind her you're on mat leave. You're not working, so you can't help her, which you did for free, with her work. Since you're not working, 'cause you're on mat leave, just keep saying it. I'm still on maternity leave. You don't have to be mean to be direct, but you also don't have to be a pushover. Also, congratulations on your baby. Be honest. I'm so happy to see you, hear from you, but I absolutely refuse to think about work until my maternity leave is up and I'm back at work. I'm using this brief time to focus on my baby, my family, and my wonderful friends like you. No work talk, no exceptions. If she doesn't have children, and she lives for her job, she may be legitimately trying to keep you in the loop. No harm, no foul unless she persists after you have been explicit with her about not wanting to discuss work. Not the asshole, but parenthood requires boundaries in all kinds of ways. You need to start setting them. Let your friend know that you're on maternity leave and want to focus on your family. You do not want to talk about work or hear about work because it stresses you out. If she accepts that, and you want to see her, let her come help. Also, set a time limit. I'd love to see you from noon 1, but remember, no work talk please. When she inevitably starts talking about work, say that you're tired and she unfortunately needs to go. And never do work on leave. You're not getting paid for that. She already hurt the friendship with colossal self-involvement and insensitivity. You can very nicely go with, "Friend, I'm so sorry, I realize that work is stressful. But I'm on maternity leave and I need serenity to bond with my baby and cope with the challenges of new motherhood, so I can't really hear one more word about it until I get back. I know you'll understand. Thanks." Then, if she starts again, go with, "Remember, nothing about work. Sorry." And if she persists, she's not really friend material, is she? Not the asshole.